Some shit just hit the fan and you don't know what to do. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is a solution to any shit hitting the fan. And so today we're going to be talking about what to do when you're under intense pressure and how to stay calm. Because obviously that's something that challenges all of us. Before I get started, I do want to say that happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and to all those, and actually everybody, because everyone has a mother. So happy Mother's Day to everybody. Today is Mother's Day. Today is May 12th. And today's episode number 115 on Discover with Spinati. So, how to stay calm under intense pressure. One of the things that most people do is they think that the best thing to do under intense pressure is to meditate. Well, not most people, but there is a certain amount of people that actually think that's the way to do it because they say, okay, well, how do I stay calm? They imagine someone calm and they imagine someone sitting on top of the mountain with their legs crossed, meditating. That's not how it's done. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. Being calm is a skill. Now, it is said that if you are a person who cannot stay calm under intense pressure, then that is a sign of weakness. Because if you can't control your emotions, then you can't really control much at all. Because what is life then? A bunch of emotions that are packed together under a time frame, right? That's life, right? Day by day with a different set of emotions, some good, some bad, and some neutral. So if you're under intense pressure, so let me give you an example. So let's say, for instance, I don't know, you lose $20,000 or someone steals from you or someone breaks into your car, or you get a fine or you get fired. Something intense happens. Some intense pressure happens and now you have to deal with it. The first thing you could do is that you could freak out. You can just say, "Hey, I don't know why this is happening to me. This keeps happening to me. Yada yada yada, poor me, sad me." And you get into this whole downward spiral. You start doing things that you shouldn't be doing in hopes that you're going to start to feel better, but in reality you're just masking the symptom. You're not actually dealing with the cause and it's not going to get better. So there is actually a proven 3-step framework, very simple one that you more than likely know, but this is just a reminder. And if you don't know, then this is great for you to deal with any problem. The first is that you have to recognize what that is. Now, when something intense happens, let's say for instance you get fired, a lot of things jump right at you. Anger, frustration, can't believe they did this. After I put in so much effort, you put in so much emotion into that thought. That is not going to help you at all. The first thing you have to understand is, okay, I got fired. This is it. I just lost my job. I got fired. That is the first thing that you have to think about. So you're like, all right, well, I lost my job. Cool. Do I still have my health? Yes. Do I still have everything else? Yes. Okay, cool. I lost my job. All right, cool. So now, that's the first step. Let's say someone broke into your car and stole a bunch of things, a bunch of money or whatever. If you keep money in the car, you shouldn't, but let's say you do. That's what you do. So you say, okay, well, someone just broke into my car, and stole some of my things. Okay, fine. Now what do I do? So that's step number 2. Step number 2 is you want to know what you have to do now. Like you have to understand, okay, there's something that I need to do in order for me to prevent this thing from happening again. So let's go back to the firing situation, to you being fired. Well, there's a reason why you got fired. You have to look back and say, okay, well, A, were you even doing a good job at that place anyway? And if you were honest with yourself, you'd say, probably not. You probably weren't doing a good job. And that's more than likely why you got fired. No one gets fired because they're an excellent employee, right? You only get fired when you're not performing well, where you're not actually performing to the expectations that your job actually entails. If someone broke into your car, are you in a neighborhood that perhaps has a high crime rate? Right? In that case, you want to ask yourself, should I stay in this neighborhood? Right? Like you have to ask yourself, like there are situations where you have to really ask and really analyze and say, okay, well, why did this happen and how can I prevent this from happening in the future? That's step number 2. Right? First, you describe the situation. Don't make it worse than it is. Right? If you get fired, like, oh my God, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to afford that? This is going to be terrible, because that's where your mind is going. Right? You stop it and you say, all right, this happened. All right, my current situation. Now, how do I prevent this from happening? Right? Because now you want to put a plug to it, because obviously you don't want it just to keep happening again. That's step 2. This is proven solutions, right? Like I'm not making this up. Proven solutions. And step number 3 is you want to have a battle plan. You want to now say, okay, well, now what do I do? So first is you want to describe what happened. Second is, okay, how do I prevent this from happening in the future? And third is, all right, now what do I do? So if you got fined, let's say you get fined, okay, or someone stole from you, or you lost a bunch of money, or whatever it is, you're like, okay, how do I make that money? How do I make that money? Maybe I have to increase my savings. Maybe I have to decrease my spending. Maybe I have to take up another job. Whatever it is, maybe I have to learn a new skill, right? That I can do quickly. So in order for me to recover, you have to have a battle plan, because once you have a battle plan, you automatically start to relax. Now, here's the things that you should not do. One is lament. Lament meaning you're thinking of the past and you think, oh, had I not driven on this road, had I not driven at this speed, it is what it is. You drove at this speed, you're on this road at that time, the cop caught you. There's nothing else you can do. It happened, right? You got fined. So it is what it is. Just deal with it. Now, the last thing you want to do is actually say to yourself, well, why did this happen to me? Other people are speeding, they don't get caught, or other people's cars were parked in that area. Why is it my car? Right? Luck is always against me. Like all that stuff, all that negative emotion, it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to make you feel better, because all you have to do now, or what you have to do now, is you have to somehow replace that negative emotion with positive one, and you need it immediately. So you're gonna either reach for the cake, reach for the drugs, reach for the alcohol, do something in order for you to start feeling better, because you need that dopamine hit. But it's not going to solve the problem. You're always going to be in that situation. You're not going to think, oh, how do I prevent this from happening? You're not going to grow. You're not going to become a better person. So those are the 3 steps. As simple as that sounds, it is literally it, right? Notice how I didn't say go complain to someone, to go tell someone, go, tell someone how bad your luck is and seek advice on what to do. You already know what to do, right? It's not rocket science. You already know what to do. So what you do is you figure it out and you just execute. Okay, that's literally the simplest thing. No meditation required, no complaining required. As a matter of fact, I want to say something about complaining. If you complain about your situation to anybody at all, you are inviting unsolicited advice without you even knowing. Because when you complain to someone because you feel like, if someone starts to feel sorry for you, you're going to start to feel better because you're validated, right? Because you feel that your emotions are now validated. So now they're going to give you advice, irrespective of who they are, because they want to try to help you. Well, you're not going to really like that advice, more than likely, because they're not in your shoes. So you may say to yourself, oh, okay, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate your advice. You're going to turn around and say, they don't know what I'm going through. Or if you're really heated up in that moment, you're going to say, you have no idea what I'm going through, right? I just told you this. I just want you to listen. And you're going to get into a fight with the person who's just trying to help you out. Notice how I said, that's not part of the 3-step process. It's very self, right? Just describe it, put it into words. Step number 2, figure out how you can prevent that from happening in the future. And then step number 3, figure out a solution for you to overcome that problem, right? Whether it's finding a new job, getting a new skill, making more money, losing weight, whatever it is, you got to figure out what to do and put a timeline to it, whether it's a 30, 60, or 90-day plan. And that's it. That's how you stay calm during any intense situation, right? That's it, literally. Some people say focus on your breath, breathe and whatever. Sure, I'm going to deal with your situation. They're not going to deal with you actually solving the problem. So that's it. That's it for today. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Sunday. And as always, keep smiling.